Codemasters are known for consistently creating great racing games. So what happens when they make a racing game that isn't really a racing game? This is ONRUSH. You can create new and exciting experiences when you combine things. The result can often be something unexpected and even original. The team at Codemasters seem to have taken this approach to their latest car-based opus, ONRUSH. You may notice that I use the term car-based rather than racing, and that's because although this is a title where you drive fast cars and motorbikes, it's not really a racing game. For example, there's never a start-finish line. There are several types of events, each with very different objectives. In fact, a lot of these objectives have far more in common with team-based multiplayer shooters than they do racing games. There's Lockdown that is basically king of the hill at 100 miles an hour. Switch is kind of like Call of Duty's gun game, where instead of changing weapon every time you kill someone, you change your vehicle every time you die. Overdrive is similar to Conquest Mode in the Battlefield series, except that instead of capturing points to win tickets for your team, you just have to use Boost. In fact, the only game mode that focuses more on racing is Countdown, where you have to race through gates to add time to your team's ever-ticking clock. All of these modes reward not just precise driving skills, but aggressive car-based combat with your opponents. In fact, there's a strong hint of Burnout in the way that you take out other cars by pushing them into walls or trying to T-bone them. It also feels a lot like Criterion's Classic in the way that you get a different stylized camera view when you take down an opponent, and also in the way that it feels like you get drawn into a wall when you are swiped by an enemy. You can also activate rush powers that are charged through boosting. Each vehicle has a different rush power. These can range from a Tron-style light wall behind your bike to stealing boosts from your opponents, or a bulldozer effect that wipes out anyone you crash into, and even one that drops walls of light behind your vehicle. This is an important factor in helping to decide which vehicle you should use. There are 8 different vehicles in ONRUSH. This may not sound like many, but there are loads of visual customization options that have a massive effect on their appearance. These 8 vehicles are split into 4 pairs with different weight factors, the lightest being the 2 motorbikes, and the heaviest being somewhere between an SUV and a tank. With the way ONRUSH is set up, these vehicles have to be perfectly balanced to make the game work, and thankfully, the team at Codemasters have nailed this. The bikes might not stand much of a chance while being sideswiped by the heavier vehicles, yet they are considerably more manoeuvrable and a lot easier to fit between narrow gaps. The balancing of ONRUSH powers also adds a nice strategic element to gameplay, without any one being superior to any other. There are 12 tracks featured in the game, each with multiple routes through them in their own unique style. With a limited number of areas, I thought that I'd get bored pretty quickly, but the way the game plays means that is never the case. You're so busy focused on your objective and where the opposition is that you really don't pay as much attention to the scenery. It's also not like a race circuit where you take the fastest line possible, which results in everyone queuing up in a long line. These have big open areas giving you space to battle with other vehicles as well as chasing down AI cars and bikes to gain boost. You do learn which part of the tracks require more respect and attention, but you still have to keep a focus on your surroundings and the opposition. All of this action means there's a lot happening on screen. As well as the other vehicles, there's a veritable cornucopia of particle and lighting effects. Cars tumble and spin as they're knocked out, debris goes flying as you play through wooden huts and junk left on the circuit. The game's engine handles all of this with no slowdown noticeable at any point. I tried it on both my Xbox One X and my One S, and didn't have any issues on either system. The campaign is a fair size, around 100 events, but will see you making multiple attempts at some events to achieve all of the objectives. You also earn XP every time you race. Leveling up grants you new gear crates that unlock different customization options for your character, vehicle and tombstones. Of course, what is going to keep most people coming back to the game is the multiplayer side of things. You have 2 options, Quick Play and Ranked. Quick Play will get you straight into the action and swaps game mode and track every time. Ranked multiplayer had not been opened up ahead of launch. I have to say that the game had some lag on the occasions that I played, but again, this might be fixed when it is officially released. I've had an absolute blast playing ONRUSH. It's so refreshing to play something that subverts one of my favourite gaming genres. It may not really be a racing game, but it certainly uses a lot of those same skills and gaming reflexes. There's a reasonable amount of content, but it could do with maybe 1 or 2 more modes and perhaps a 3rd option in each weight category. What is here though is perfectly balanced and a whole lot of fun. No 2 races are ever the same, and the tracks don't get boring thanks to the tremendous amount of action that's always occurring. If you're a fan of games like Burnout, Flat Out or even Twisted Metal, this is a game you have to check out. I'd go further than that though, and say if you have any interest in the racing genre or any type of competitive multiplayer game, this is worth some of your time. Personally, I love it, and I'm looking forward to spending many more hours bringing the pain to the Orange team.